Hello, dear. A very warm welcome to you. First, let me thank you for selecting this video for your studies. And I request you humbly that please help me to grow this channel. If you subscribe, then only I can get the fruit of my efforts. In this video, I am going to explain you line by line the contents of the sonnet 73, that time of year. Before I start explaining this, let me give you a little background about this poem. Shakespeare had an intimate friend who is referred to as the Fair Youth. He was the third Earl of Southampton. He was very fair and very handsome, and Shakespeare loved him a lot. But it is evident from this sonnet that Shakespeare did not get the love and attention, affection from the fair youth as expected. Therefore, he was very desperate to get the good response from the fair youth. That is what is expressed in this sonnet. Though Shakespeare was not an old man when he wrote this sonnet, he imagines himself to be old and he is nearing death. This is something strange. The only idea expressed in all the three quatrains is that he is going old. In the first quatrain, Shakespeare compares his life to late autumn. That means he is going old. He is nearing death. In the second quatrain, he compares his life to twilight. That is after the sunset. Again, it refers to old age. In the third quatrain, he compares his life to an amber or a dim fire which will be extinguished within few minutes. Now, let me give you the explanation line by line. That time of the year you mayst in me behold. This first line indicates that there is someone sitting in front of him, and this could be the fair youth. And he is telling that person to look at him. Immediately, the idea shifts to the nature. He expresses it poetically. He uses a metaphor. And in the second line, he says, when yellow leaves, or none, or few, do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold. The second line clearly indicates which time of the year it is. The leaves of the trees have gone yellow and they are about to fall, and in some of the trees there are very few leaves, and in some of them there are no leaves at all. This indicates the autumn, or you can say the late autumn. Here Shakespeare considers one year as his whole life. So there are four seasons: spring, summer, autumn and winter. So if spring is the beginning of the life, winter is the end of life, that is the death. Now he says that time of the year is late autumn, that he is old. And further he says that the few leaves which are there in the boughs, they shake because of cold, he says. This is unheard of. The tree never gets cold and doesn't shiver. It's a human being that shivers because of cold. Here, though the leaves are shaken by the wind, Shakespeare is imagining that they are shaken by the cold. So therefore, we can say that this is a personification. Bare ruined choirs where late the sweet birds sang. The phrase bare ruined choirs represents two things. Choir means the group of singers singing the prayer in a church. But he says it is ruined choir. Ruined means destroyed. So here we have to imagine that a church has been destroyed. Therefore, the people, those who came to sing, that is a choir, they are not there. They have deserted the church. So, according to the poet, a few days ago, birds used to come and sing here, sitting on the branches. But now, these birds have deserted this place. Therefore, I think he calls it as a ruined, destroyed one. All these are only comparisons. He is comparing all these things to his old age, advancing age. The singing of the birds represents the happy moments and colorful moments of his life. That is his youth. But now, as the youth has passed and he is now going old, that means he is losing the vigor and vitality and the happy moments of his life. Therefore, he needs love and affection from the fair youth. In the second stanza, he says, "In me thou seest the twilight of such day as after sunset fadeth in the west." The sunset fades in the west. See the beauty of this sonnet. In the first quatrain, Shakespeare has compared his life to 1 year of time. But in the second stanza, he is taking one day as his life. Sunrise being the beginning of his life and the night being the end of his life, that is his death. The twilight represents the old age, which by and by black night doth take away, which means the twilight. The twilight will be swallowed by night. He calls it a black night. That means it is death for him. It is the end of life. Death's second self that seals up all in rest. Second self means it's another form. So here, death's second self is the night. You know that death is a permanent sleep and sleep is a temporary death. That's how it is said, isn't it? The night takes everybody into its ambit and makes everyone sleep. Here again, the idea is that he is highlighting his advancing age. In the third quatrain also, the same idea is expressed through a metaphor, ember, or a dim fire. See how he says, "In me thou seest the glowing of such fire that on the ashes of his youth doth lie." Here, Shakespeare is referring to the dim fire which is shown up among the ashes. That is, a log was burnt here. So when it started burning, the flame was more. This represents that during his childhood and his youth, he had a lot of energy with him, but slowly the same fire has produced ashes. And now that ash is going to cover the same flame and slowly it is going to extinguish the fire. The fire whose intensity is coming down. This he is expressing as his vitality, or you can say his energy within. As the deathbed whereon it must expire, that is, the ash that has been produced is going to be the deathbed for the fire which was there. That's why the next line is very interesting and there is a juxtaposition of two contradictory ideas, contrasting ideas. See the beauty of this. Consumed with that which it was nourished by. That means the thing which nourished the flame, that is, the burning substance in the log, that is hydrocarbon, made the flame. And now, after burning, the same fire which has produced the ashes is going to be its deathbed. Now, it will consume the fire. Slowly, slowly, the fire which was burning so much will come down, and ultimately it will be extinguished by the ashes. That means ash is consuming the fire. Now, the analogy is that his vitality, his energy is going down because of the age. He is going old. That is the indication he wants to give. So far, the same idea of old age and death has been expressed in all the three quatrains. But see the sudden change in the couplet. Normally, the couplet is the place for conclusion. Now, here, the mood also changes a lot. See what it says. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong. Now, he is telling the fair youth that if he understands this, if he perceives this, that is his condition, then definitely his love for him will increase. Actually, this is what Shakespeare wants. Now he is indicating that he is going old and he is not going to be here for long, and they are going to depart after some times. So he is now urging that his love for him should increase. It should become stronger and stronger. To love that well which thou must live ere long. Ere long means before long. That means, again, he is indicating that time is less because he is already old and coming very near to death. So, this is a time he expects more and intense love for him. The last couplet has made this sonnet a love sonnet. Otherwise, in all the three quatrains, there was a mood of somber, there was sadness, there was unrest. But at the last, in the concluding couplet, Shakespeare is urging the fair youth that this is a time he should give more attention to the poet and he should love him more. Thank you once again for watching this video. Please share this.